Hello, I'm Chris Petruzzi. I'm the assistant head of school at North Broward. I'm finishing up my 26th year here at North Broward.
Hi, my name is Robert Hollander. I'm the aviation instructor at North Broward, and I was a jet charter pilot for about 17 years, and then a commercial airline pilot for JetBlue.
It was great hearing earlier that you were talking about some of our students from last year that went to Embry-Riddle, and then maybe some other ones that are already there.
Yeah, it's great. Some of these students didn't even know that they wanted a career in aviation, and it was really great. There was some spark, and they got really interested in the class, and they didn't even think of aviation as a career, and now they're in professional flight school. One just took his commercial check ride the other day and texted me and told me he was taking it, and that was great. I've had students taking flying lessons. As a matter of fact, this year I have two students in general aviation, one that have taken discovery flights, one is taking flying lessons, and a student in my general aviation 2 class is almost at the point of his private pilot check ride. He's already soloing, and he didn't even ever think about flying before. So
Wow.
it really feels good to see a student discover an interest in something that they didn't know they had, and sometimes it just takes that little spark.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Like, how does it feel when a student, you have students come in, they come to the classes for all different reasons, right? Maybe they're just looking for a tech handler
Yeah.
or something. And then there's that moment when they have that you see that sort of turn when they discover the passion. Like, how's that feel? Or, you know, what sparks that moment for different students?
First of all, it feels great to see that, passing the knowledge and love of aviation to somebody. Because when I was their age, I didn't have somebody to put that spark into me. I didn't get that in a school environment. It's usually what I'll do is I'll see a student I'll know they have the spark because they'll start asking questions, like real questions, and it'll kind of tell me that they're really interested in this. It feels really great to see a student have that interest and then want to expand their interest into possibly flying and then possibly getting their pilot's license and then possibly taking a career path in that aviation direction. And it doesn't always have to be a pilot as well. You can want to be an air traffic controller. Some people go to a Embry-Riddle or something like that, and they'll do aviation science or airway design, that kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure of the exact course, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a pilot. There could be management, aircraft management. There could be owning an airline. You don't necessarily have to be a pilot. There are many businesses that are associated with flying too that students seem to really be interested in.
I would imagine a lot of the stories that you tell and sharing your experiences have a lot to do with sparking that interest.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder so we have this new wonderful advanced simulator from Redbird. I wonder how much you think that might contribute to sparking the interest of our future students.
That's a great point. When you take a student who's only been in the simulator that's not as advanced as this, they don't quite seem to be 100% enthusiastic. They're into it, but once they get into this and they actually see the real size controls, 180-degree vision from side to side, you don't have to imagine that you're looking outside to the left. You actually see the wing strut and the pitot tube, and you can see the runway, and it's all the controls are there. You have the G1000, you have the steam, you have the single, you have the multi, and you can trade it all out. It's really convenient. But the students really seem to show a lot of enthusiasm once they're sitting in here.
Yeah.
They really enjoy it.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about how the simulator can be configured to simulate different aircraft and what advantage that might have for our students.
Yeah, it's really great. You can start with a 6-pack in the traditional way of flying, and then just in a matter of minutes, you can take the panel out and you can take the throttle quadrant out, and you can make it a multi-engine Piper Seminole. And then similarly, you can take that out, make it a G1000 single engine 172. So just to get back to the analog gauges versus the digital gauges, the students can learn primarily on the analog gauges and then quickly transition to the G1000. And then the G1000 is going to incorporate all the communication and all the primary flight displays, and also all the navigation is all encompassed in these two screens. It's really a great experience.
Awesome. And what's the difference between, say, a single engine and a multi-engine? And what role does an advanced simulator like Redbird kind of play in helping students learn about maybe the aerodynamic differences or the how it feels?
Yeah. Well, the first thing they're going to notice is the speed difference. The twin engine is going to go a little faster, especially when you put the gear up. It's remarkable in that way. The twin engine model allows the students to see airplanes that are going to be faster and more advanced, and it's going to make them think ahead of the airplane more than they would so in a slower Cessna. So basically, it's going to develop more on-the-spot thinking, and they're going to need to be like 5 or 6 seconds ahead of the aircraft because things are going to be happening a lot quicker. And there's also more muscle memory they'll be developing for landing gear, more activity with the flaps, higher speeds, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and with the twin engine as well, then we actually would introduce engine failures, so the students would be able to successfully fly and land an airplane with an engine fail. I was flying professionally in the Learjet. I had not one but two complete hydraulic failures, and that's one of the emergencies that you learn in the actual flight simulator for the type rating and the recurrent. And it was just like the simulator. So it turned a life-threatening emergency into something routine.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think that's cool that the students can do that here, like where they're taking an actual flight lesson, besides paying, $300 an hour to do that. An engine out is like
Absolutely.
just pulling out the
Mixture or
mixture, right? But here you can actually simulate the engine out.
Yes, I could just simulate the engine out. I can have a flat failure. I can
Something I couldn't do.
I can do instrument failures.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that you couldn't do safely.
Couldn't do safely.
Yeah, you can
Exactly.
do that in a simulator like this. So
Yeah, because I really do think that's, it's interesting to me because I think there's so many things that our students get out of an advanced simulator like
Definitely.
this, and obviously the immersive experience, the sort of one-to-one similarities between, say, the G1000 operating that and in a real plane.
It's an exact replica.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about the G1000 and how having a simulator like this really levels up the students' training and knowledge.
Yeah, so it's a really advanced avionics system. You have a primary flight display, and then you have a multifunction display. And the primary flight display is one screen, and it replaces the 6 primary instruments that you would normally fly with. It's all in one screen. It's easy to scan. So most corporate and professional airplanes today do have similar cockpits with the glass, and the analog gauges are going away. We can simulate. We can use both, so they can see what the difference is. But the G1000 is really a way to introduce students into the more advanced aircraft that they'll be encountering.
There's so many students who, they see things like this and already that's sparking their interest, and they are curious about careers like this, and they have parents who want to help them. What advice would you give to parents on what that pathway looks like and how they can help their students take the steps that they need to do?
Okay, well, I think the biggest thing that a parent can do is to be open to the subject if they're not familiar with it already. A lot of people's first experience with aviation is just maybe going to a small airport and seeing a small airplane, maybe seeing a student and instructor getting in an airplane, and that might spark their interest.
If you were outlining the steps to a career to become, let's say, an airline pilot, what would be all the stages that one would have to move through? And is there just one pathway there, or could you get there in other ways?
That's a great question. There's a few paths you can take. The most traditional path to take would be getting your private pilot's license, then getting an instrument rating, then getting a commercial rating, then possibly getting a flight instructor license, and that would allow you to accumulate hours at no cost to you, and you'd actually be getting paid while you do that, while you gain your hours for either business aviation or the airlines. That's you doing it step by step on your own by going to a local flight school and doing it piecemeal. Nothing wrong with that. You can also enroll in an aviation college, and simultaneously with your flight training, you can get a bachelor's degree, a BA or a BS. And in the curriculum is built in is the flight training. So you could do it that way too, and that's a more organized way to do it. So there's that's two ways that you can go about getting a pathway started towards an aviation career.
I think one of the things that makes North Broward special is our healthy obsession with improving and always being better. And part of that is listening to our students and responding to their needs and their interests. And I think this is evidence of that. And that evolution never stops once we get started. So I really think this is a fantastic time to join North Broward. If you have an interest in STEAM or aviation or engineering or science, this is a great time to join, because you are not only going to be sort of on that front line of getting to experience all the new changes, but your opinion will drive those changes, and your interests will help chart the course for how the program develops. And I think that's something that is really unique to us and close to our hearts. And that's what gives us fulfillment, to know that we've created something great that's going to just keep giving back to other people for years and years.
Well, I could say that the addition of the Redbird has really created more enthusiasm from the students who were already enthused to be in aviation. And it's a great tool to keep the students interested that are in the class and to inspire other students to want to experience what these students are experiencing currently.